I've got a signal to take a long trade. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to buy. Now I'm in this trade. Stop loss goes just underneath, and take profit is better than 1-to-1. So again, this is a market that's not warranting a 2-to-1 like I'd like. So we're going for an appropriate target with this. It's better than 1-to-1. So we're still doing okay. Now, as this trade progresses, I will be managing it. Very important concept, very important key to making more than we lose. So the risk is going to be reduced. Every candle that I get an opportunity to do that, I will be moving my stop loss. So I'm going to put the video on pause and I'll be back shortly. Trade is moving in my favor and these dots have moved up. So I'm going to take my stop loss and cut the risk right in half. So I'm risking half of what the initial risk was originally. So now I am going to go and put the video back on pause and I'll be back very shortly. Even though we're getting something of a pullback, I am going to manage this a little bit further. So I've got my stop loss reduced now to just very little. So if I do lose this trade, it's going to be just by a tiny amount. Again, when I get an opportunity to manage this even further, I will come back. But for now, I'm going to put the video on pause. I'm going to move my stop now into profit just a little bit. So no matter what happens, if I lose this trade, or at least if the stop loss gets hit, I won't lose any money. I'm going to actually make a little bit of money. So it's up in the air right now. I'll either make a little bit or I'll make a lot, depending on what the market does from here. But because of proper trade management, I can't lose on this trade. So I'm going to put the video on pause and I'll be back when there is some further development. I'm going to move my stop loss into profit a little bit further. So I am underneath the dot and we've locked in a decent amount of profit on this. Now we're very, very close to getting our take profit hit. And hopefully that's going to happen while I'm recording this. I'm going to put the video on pause if it doesn't look like we're getting there. It's a little bit of a pullback, just a couple ticks. So I'll put the video on pause and with some luck, I'm going to catch this live. Well, the price popped up pretty quick and took us out. We had our take profit hit. It was a nice profitable trade. Let's take a look at the arrows, the entries, the exit, and what we made on this. So this is the trade. Our entry was here, equilibrium long trade, and we were targeting this upper level, this outer channel. You can see the little blue mark here. This is where we targeted and we got taken out. Price smashed through it at one point. We're hesitant in this area here. It did pull back a little bit, but it didn't encroach too much towards our stop loss. We can see here that our stop loss was in profit. Our entry is at this blue arrow. Our stop loss was in profit and our take profit did get hit. Now, if this one candle didn't hit it, the next one definitely would have, and it may continue up to hit the current outer channel. That is very likely given the situation and the way the indicators are oriented. So this is a well-played trade. If we take a look down here on this one, because we went for a little bit more on this, we made $2,170.04. And that is a great trade. That is a nice night's worth of work. Thanks for watching this trade, and I hope to see you in another live trade video. I've got an order to place a long trade, so I'm going to do that right now. So I'm in this long position. My stop loss goes right here. My take profit goes up here. Perfect. So I am better than 1-to-1. I'm doing okay. I'm going to make more than I'm potentially going to lose on this trade. And if I can win 50% of the time, this means I'm making money. All right. So this trade, as it progresses, I'm going to come back and manage. But right now, I've got to wait for it to progress a little bit. So I'm going to put the video on pause and I will be back as soon as I can. I'm glad I got this started because we were just about to get taken out in profit, and I thought maybe I'd miss that, but here we go. Let's make a final push. There we go. Nice. And I didn't even get a chance to move my stop loss. 3 candles, and we were taken out in profit. This was a beautiful trade. This was an equilibrium long trade, and it scored magnificently. Now, I'm going to take a quick look and just see what we made on this, and I'll put the arrows up on the chart so we can see where we entered and where we got out. So this is the trade. Now, I did enter this on this candle here. Now, that was possibly a little bit later than I'd like to have. It was okay. Like we got into the trade right when the signal happened. So we got into this trade and it was stop loss underneath and take profit was a little bit better than 1-to-1. And I didn't even get a chance to manage this trade. It just took off. And yeah, 2.5 candles later, 3 candles in total, it just exploded. So this is the way I'd like most of my trades to work out. And a lot of them do. So this is a really nice trade. This one worked out really well. And on this trade, we made $1,765.71. We are at this outer channel now. So I do expect there to be a reaction here. So this exit was perfect. This was the ideal place to get out of this trade. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another live trade video. I've got a signal to go long, so I'm going to place an order to go long. So I'm going to buy right now, and my stop is going to go just below the designated stop area. My target will be at this middle channel here. I'm going to go just a little bit higher. I'm going to go for 1-to-1 of this. You know what? Yeah. Now this is good. We're in a slower period of the day, so I'm not going to go for a whole lot. And the bias is a little bit short. So when we have a bias to the shorter side, then this middle target, this middle channel becomes a really good target. So that's what we're going for on this one. And as the trade progresses, I'm going to manage the stop loss. So we are going to reduce the risk as this trade plays out. The currency pair is moving nicely, and I get an opportunity to manage this trade. So I'm going to move my stop loss a little bit. Now, I'm not cutting it down quite half. It's about just a little bit better than a third. So I've got my stop reduced. The risk is smaller than when I started. And right now we are looking like this wants to take our, or hit our take profit. Now, we did have a little bit of a pullback in here. And if I had missed this initial entry, we actually got another entry on this teeny little candle right here. So we had a second opportunity to go long if I had missed this first entry. Price settled, kind of went sideways a little bit, which is to be expected. That's okay. And then it is now taking off, and it's headed very close to our take profit level. So I think we're going to watch this just for a moment, and hopefully we'll catch it taking our take profit. We'll catch that on screen. Well, that one candle did not get to our take profit, but we have a new candle open, which means I have a new opportunity to manage my trade. And at this point, we are at about half of the initial risk. So if I'm risking, let's say 2% of my account, now I'm down to 1%. So any loss that I do take on this is going to be substantially minimized. Price is just about there. We're almost going to be taken out of the trade. The price just has to touch the line. It doesn't have to get much past it. In a sell trade, we need the market to get below the line. In a buy trade, it just has to tag our take profit level. And we're almost there. There we go. We tagged the take profit on this trade. So we're out of this trade. It was a really nicely played trade. Again, this was an equilibrium long. We got the signal to go long here. And if we had missed it, there's another one on this tiny little candle. This was another signal to go long. Stop loss wasn't too big. and our take profit was better than our stop loss was. So we made more on this than we risked, but as the trade progressed, I also managed to reduce the risk on the trade. So let's take a look and see what this particular one made for us. So this one wasn't too bad. So with 15 lots, 15 lots, we ended up with $1,569.37. Now this one took a little while. This one took about an hour to come to fruition. We entered the trade, did go a little bit sideways, got a second opportunity, and then finally when it did get going, it took off. It explodes out of these equilibrium levels, and as a result, we have profitable trades. Thanks for watching this one, and I will see you in another live trade video. I've got an order or a signal to take a long trade. So I'm going to place this long order right now. My stop loss is going in the appropriate place. My take profit also is going in the designated take profit area. So as this trade progresses, I'm going to manage it along these stop dots. And then every time I get an opportunity to do that, I will manage the trade, and I'll show you exactly what it is I'm doing. I'm going to manage this AJ trade a little bit. So now I'm going to take my stop, and I'm going to reduce the risk by, looks like about 75%. So now instead of risking 2%, I'm risking half of 1%. And that is a really nice way to work any kind of trade. Now, the market is bouncing off of this middle channel, and we do expect that to be the case. We are reacting off of this level, but there could be a final push up to the take profit. So either way, if I lose this trade, the loss is going to be reduced dramatically. If I win this trade, then I get the full win. So either way, I'm going to record this, and ideally, we're going to see as we get taken out in profit. Now, what's just happened is a brand new candle has opened. So I'm going to move my stop to break even. I'm actually going to move it on the plus side by just a little bit. So now, no matter what happens on this trade, because of the proper trade management, I cannot lose on this trade at all. I'm either going to win a very little amount at this point, or I'm going to win the full amount. So either way, I'm doing okay. I'm going to put the video back on pause, and I'll come back when there is some further development. Well, we got spiked out of the trade in a positive way. So this one worked out really well. So we had the trigger to go long and the big move up. And this move was really nice. Now we had a reaction at this middle channel, which is normal. It is perfectly normal to get that reaction at this gray level here. But we did get that big spike up that took us out. Now, I fully expect to see a reaction off of kind of the zone that we're in, and the market will want to come down off of that. But we did get the trade taken out. These levels really do make good calls. So I'm going to take a look and see what we made on this particular trade. Now, this is the trade, and we made $1,422.64. This was the signal to go long. Now, if I did not take this one signal here, if I missed it, then I had another signal right in here where I could have gone long on this candle here. So if I missed the first one, I had a second opportunity. Once the market starts moving out of this level, then it really can really take off. It can start to move really well. And that is what happened here. So we had an equilibrium long trade that worked out really well. The risk on this, you can see just in here, this is where the entry was and where the stop loss was. So the trade management took this trade and broke it even. So there is no loss. We could not have lost any money on this trade due to proper money management, proper trade management as this trade progressed. So thank you for watching. I will see you in another live trade video. I've got a signal to go long, so I'm going to do that before the market takes off on me here. So now I've got this equilibrium long trade. My stop is going to go beneath the dots, and because of the Equiscape indicator, I'm going to target this middle channel. So now I've got a long trade set up, and I'm going to manage this trade like I try to do with every trade. So as this trade progresses, I'm going to manage the trade, reduce the risk on this setup. And if I get to do that, I'll show you exactly what it is that I do. I'm going to manage this trade a little bit. So I'm going to move my stop. I'm going to, at the same time here, what I'm going to do is zoom in a bit because we're zoomed out a little bit too far and everything's really small. So now I've got this zoomed in a little bit. I've managed the trade. I've cut the risk by about half. So we're marching towards the take profit. And if I get another opportunity to manage the trade, I will do so. I'll come back and hopefully I will manage to catch the exit as it hits our take profit on film. Well, this is what happens when you're not around 100% of the time. The trade took care of itself and we got spiked out. We got a nice profit target hit, and it really did explode. We had a bit of a pullback in here. The market started to reverse just a little bit, but one candle is not a reversal. So once that got it out of its system, the market just took off and nailed our take profit. So I'm going to take a quick look and we'll put the arrows on the chart and just see where the trade happened and where it ended. So this is where we entered the trade, was at this candle here. Now this was the entry to go long and the take profit, see, it was right here. So we got out of the trade where it hit this gray level. So we got this entry to go long. And we did get as far as the outside blue level here, where the price is going to react very strongly. It's going to want to make a turn at this level. And it appears to be doing exactly that right now. So we got in, we got out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about half an hour, because this is a 5-minute time frame. And with that half hour, we ended up making $1,662.15. So this was a nice trade. Over $1,000 in half an hour. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another live trade video. This is an equilibrium short trade. So I'm going to sell this one. All right. So we're in the short trade. This is what this gray candle here was. Now stop loss and take profit. So it's because of the Equiscape, my take profit is going to be this middle gray line here. So I've got both my stop, my take profit placed. As this trade progresses, I am going to be monitoring this and managing it whenever I get an opportunity to do so. I will be back as soon as I can do exactly that. So I'll see you in just a moment. It's only been a minute or so, and the market has really made a strong push to get to this profit target. Now, it doesn't touch the line. It has to get through the line in order for it to close a trade. So we are looking at about this red channel at the bottom. If the market can get to the red channel, then we're done. The trade will be closed and we'll have bagged our profit on this one. Right now, I just wanted to capture this. I was thinking that maybe it could push through, and it hasn't done that just yet. I can't manage the trade just yet. I have to wait for more market movement. So again, I'm going to put the video back on pause and I shall return momentarily. Well, this one worked out really nice. Now we had the short and we got taken out in profit. Now, I'm going to mark up the chart. I'm going to put the lines on there and we shall take a look and see how much we made on this one. So this is the trade here. We're looking at $980. So let's just put this drag and drop onto the chart. And this is the short. Now it was this candle here that we got the signal. This little gray one here. And then 2 candles later, maybe not even a whole 2 candles, candle and a half. We were taken out of the trade. This is a nice fast trade and I like how this works. It's not always going to be this fast. Didn't even get a chance to manage this trade. It just fell through the floor and took us out. $980 in profit in less than 10 minutes. So that's probably one of the best 10 minutes I've ever spent. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in another live trade video. I've got a reset short trade. Now we got a little skip, a little tiny gap here, but I'm going to get into this anyways. So we are short a reset trade. Now my stop loss will jump up here. My take profit will go down here. Now we're looking at 1-to-1 on the reset trade. Market has used an awful lot of momentum to get where it has gotten to. So we're not going to expect it to move a whole lot further. So we're in this reset. And as this trade progresses, I will manage it. But until I get to do that, I'll put the video on pause and I'll be back shortly. This one is coming along nice and I get a chance to manage this trade. Now I'm going to do that right here. Now I'm going to reduce the risk on this one by half. So there is half the amount of risk and double the reward. Is that what that works out to? So we've got half the risk. If I was risking 2% on the trade, now I'm risking 1%. So if I do lose this, it's going to be smaller than what I had initially put on the table. Now, it looks like the price had hit this line, and it did. The price hit my exit line, but it needs to get beyond that line by the spread. Because this is a sell trade, it needs to get lower than this line by the spread. And we have to consider that with our stop loss as well. Price needs to get below the stop loss by the spread amount before it takes us out. So price isn't going to touch the line itself. It's going to get below it by the spread amount. And in this case, it'll be about 2 pips. I think when the trade was taken, it was 1.8 pips. So if we get to about 2 pips below the exit line, either way, the price has to be below the exit line by the spread amount to be taken out, which is why we like to add the spread amount to our stop loss when we place it. Put your stop loss where you want it and then add the spread amount. All right, little lesson there. This is why we weren't taken out here. So price needs to get just a little bit lower than it did on this one candle before we get taken out of the trade. I've got no worries about that. I've got my take profit put exactly where I want it, and market is going to take us out. I am confident of that. If it doesn't, my stop has been reduced, so the damage for a losing trade is going to be minimal. We were taken out just right now. We jumped below and our take profit was hit. The stop loss, well placed. The take profit, well placed. This trade worked out nicely. This was a reset short trade. And because the market moved, there was a little bit less momentum. We don't want to assume that the market is going to always deliver for us. So we want to know when is the time that the market has less momentum. When's the time when it has most momentum. And this was a reset trade. So we know that the momentum isn't in full swing. So we're not going for the big targets with this one. But this one worked out really, really well. Let's take a quick look and see what we did here. I'll put the arrows on the chart and take a look at what we made on this one. So this is the reset. Now I'm going to zoom in here just a bit. I'm going to widen it a little bit just so we can see. All right, so we got the reset short. This was the signal to go short. We got our 1-to-1. It was a beautiful trade. On this one, we made $975. We didn't make quite as much as we do with maybe an equilibrium trade, simply because, again, we're not looking for some super follow through. We know at this point where the market is likely to really go strong and where it's likely to maybe not go quite as hard. And this is the one that's not going to give us a lot of market movement, but we know exactly what to expect. All right, a reset trade, $975. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in another live trade video. In a few seconds, I've got an order, there we go, to go short. So now I am short the euro yen. Stop loss is placed. Take profit is placed. Now, as this trade progresses, I will manage it in order to reduce the risk so that if I do get stopped out, it's going to be just a small loss as opposed to the full risk. Well, this took us out pretty quickly. We had the signal to go short here, and I did not get much of a chance. Oh, I didn't get any chance to manage this trade. The market just fell right through. It was called a reset short trade, and we got the signal to go short on this gray candle here, and the target being down here just got smashed. 2-3 candles later, we were out of the trade very, very quick. This is exactly how we like it to go. This is a reset trade. This is a reset short trade. The signal is very clear, and the momentum, we're not expecting a whole lot of momentum, which is why we went for 1-to-1 on this one, simply because it was a reset trade. Let's take a quick look and see what we made on this particular short. This is it here. We got $1,109, almost $1,110. This was the short on the close of this candle, which of course is the open of the next one. Stop loss was placed appropriately, and I did not get a real opportunity to manage the trade. Now, if this next candle had opened, this would have been a great opportunity to manage the trade. That wasn't the case. That's okay. The market moved in our favor very quickly, and we were out in 3 candles. I wish all my trades would go as fast as this one. This was, on this gray candle here, an equilibrium short trade, which I entered. Now, for the stop loss, and for the take profit, wait a second, there we go. All right, so I've got my stop placed, my take profit placed. We are in this short equilibrium trade. This is the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I am going to be moving my stop loss as the trade progresses and allows me to do so. But in the meantime, I'll put the video on pause and I'll see you in just a moment. Well, this short is working out quite nicely. I am going to manage this trade. I'm looking at about 1.5 or so pips. So this is where my stop loss is going to go. I'm going to cut this risk right in half. As this is a short trade, market's going to have to drop below about 1.5 pips before it closes in profit. We're going to let the market do that. Now, the risk has been reduced, so if we get stopped out, we'll lose a little bit. But if we get our take profit hit, then we'll win the full amount, and that's always a nice thing. So I'm going to put the video back on pause, and I'll return in just a minute. With some luck, we'll see this trade close itself out in profit. Now we just need a tiny little push. And there it is. We got that move below that exit level. We got that move below the exit level by the spread amount, and that is what closed the trade. So this was a nice little short trade. Let's take a look and see what we made and where we entered the trade and how this thing played out. So this little short netted $885 even. The equilibrium short was on this little gray candle right here. We entered that trade and it pulled back almost immediately. It didn't see any profit for a little bit, but 5 candles later, it came back around and it just sunk after that. It was a nice trade and we managed the trade as we went. So the stop, it never did get to break even, but the risk amount was reduced quite a bit, quite substantially. So if we did lose this, it would have been just a small amount. So again, $885 on the equilibrium short on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another live trade video. I've got a signal to go short. This is an equilibrium short trade. So I will place that sell trade right now. Stop loss and my take profit are both placed. So as this trade progresses, I will get a chance to manage it. And as I do so, I will be back. But for now, I'm going to put the video on pause. I'm going to manage this trade. I'm going to reduce the risk by half. I'm going to take my stop loss and drop it down halfway. Now, we did spike below this exit level, and the reason it didn't take us out is because the spread at that point was about 1.7 or so. And if I do this, we can see that 1.7 is a little bit lower. And we have to be out below this by whatever the spread amount is. And this is only the case in the sell trade. So we'll be looking for the market to hit just below this low, this wick down here. Once the market does that, then we'll officially be out of this trade. Right now, we need to drop just a little bit lower, about a pip or so lower, not even. And then we'll be out of the trade. All right, well, we've got another candle that opened. This one is just about there. We're just about out of this trade. I'm going to manage this one a little bit further. So even though we're fraction of a pip away from getting taken out, we're still going to manage this because anything can happen. I don't know how many times I've been fraction of a pip away from the target and the market did turn around. So it does happen. I am going to actually move my stop to just better than break even. So I am in profit. So no matter what happens at this point, I can't lose on this trade. If I get a little tiny kick down, we're going to close the trade in profit. But if it does move up and get to this dot here, then we'll close the trade. It'll still be in profit, but it'll just be a smaller amount. So I'm going to put the video back on pause. When this starts to come back around, I hope to catch it as it closes. Well, the candle has closed and the new one is opened and we are back on track to getting our take profit hit. So we're going to wait and watch. Something that we can do on a sell trade is I'm going to right click. And this trade might take us out, but I'm going to hit properties. There we go. We were taken out of the trade. We were taken out of the trade and it worked well. This was a nice trade. We had a little bit of a flutter, but that's okay. That's the way this goes. Market did take hit our take profit and we did nice. So let's take a look. I'll put some arrows on the chart. Take a look at what we made on this one. All right. So we took a equilibrium short trade on the close of this candle here and the price moved down. We had a bit of a hiccup right in this area here, but it never did go too much higher than these dots, which stayed clear of our stop loss. Now, what we made on this was $765. This isn't a huge trade, but it is still a good day's work. This was a live trade, equilibrium short, Euro USD. Thank you for watching. See you in another live trade video. I got a signal to go along that was this candle right here. And while I was filming this, my computer died. So I'm going to re-record this part of it. Now I got the signal. This was an equilibrium long trade and my stop loss was placed right underneath the channel here. And my take profit is up at this upper channel. Now it's better than 1-to-1, which is perfect. Now, as this trade progresses, I'm going to be able to manage my stop loss, reducing the risk for every candle that goes in my favor. So I'm going to do that. But for now, I'm going to put the video on pause. And when I get an opportunity to manage this trade, I will be back. This trade is coming along nice and I'm going to move my stop. So I've reduced the risk more than half and we are marching nice and strong towards our take profit. Now we are at an element or an area that can provide a little bit of resistance. And that's okay. We understand that that's the case. The indicator below tells me that we are looking to see that the price is going to get all the way to the top here, to the top channel. So I have no fear. So I'm going to put the video back on pause and hopefully this next candle or the next candle after that will get to our take profit and we'll record that. That is the hope here. Sometimes though, it just smashes through these take profit levels, but either way, I'm going to come back and we will continue with this trade. Another opportunity to move my stop this time to just under break even. So the risk has been reduced substantially. So a loss here is not even really going to amount to much at all. A couple pips of the next win will recoup any loss that I potentially get here. Again, I'll put the video back on pause and I will be back shortly. A little wobble in the price, but that is okay. Our stop loss was well underneath. Now that we've moved back up a little bit, I get to move my stop loss into profit. So I'm going to lock in a little bit here. And no matter what happens at this point, I cannot lose any money. I'm going to make money either way. I'm going to make money if we hit our take profit. I'm going to make money if we hit our stop loss. This is an awesome trade. It's working out really well. And at this point, I cannot lose any money. I'm in what's called a free trade. Just right now, we were taken out in profit. The US dollar Japanese yen trade just like 3 seconds ago nailed our take profit. This was a nice trade. And we did get a little bit of a pullback and a wobble in here, but our stop loss was safe. So we didn't risk getting stopped out prematurely. We did get our take profit hit. This was a nice trade. Let's take a really quick look and see what we did on this one. So on this one, just isolate that a bit here. We've got the US dollar Japanese yen. That's this trade here. This was an equilibrium long trade and it kind of wiggled its way, but it did go our way and it didn't really go against us at any point. It did have its wobble and that's normal. The market does kind of go back and forth a little bit. We did wobble back and forth. Stop loss was never in any danger. And on this one, we made $1,000. We made $1,032.16. And that was over the course of just over an hour. We have several candles here and that's good for an hour's worth of work. So $1,000 equilibrium long trade. This is an area where we know the market is likely going to take off. And, we really did take advantage of this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in another live trade video.